Welcome to the Take Action Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Simmons, here to help you take massive action to being your best self. Many people don't believe in their own potential and don't always have the courage to change their situation. Join me and other guests as we give you practical ways to releasing your potential so that you can be your best self. Now let's stop playing and take action. What's up, you guys? We are back with another great episode, and my guest today is Leann Kelly. She is an empowerment coach, and she has over 25 years, y'all, in the holistic fitness industry. And I think you are going to just really enjoy her and what she has to share with us today as we're talking about freedom. Let me tell you something interesting about her. She is a sponsored athlete in the fitness world. She is a model. She is an empowerment coach. She is a certified counselor and domestic abuse services. Like, this woman is doing her thing. So y'all help me welcome Leann Kelly to the Take Action podcast show. Hello, Leann.
Hello, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super excited. I'm just so excited to talk with you in this venue. We always see each other at the shows and we talk about bodybuilding and fitness, but you and I are also, we can never suppress our empowerment coach skills.
Yes.
And that's what I think always really brings us together, that energy just to uplift each other and empower each other. And I'm just super happy to be here and talk with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. And yeah, we do know each other in the fitness space. Leann and I have shared the stage, a couple of stages, large stage, especially large stage at the Arnold Fashion Show back sometime. And that was an amazing experience. And so if we get into that, we may touch on that a little bit, but we're talking about freedom today, right, Leann? And when I asked you that question, we had that just a brief conversation about freedom. I loved what you had to say. So to kick us off, first, tell us a little bit more about yourself that maybe I haven't already mentioned, and then we're going to talk about what freedom means to you.
I love that. Thank you so much. Like you said, I'm an empowerment coach. Oh my gosh, I'm a vegan bodybuilder. I'm a mom. I'm a group fitness instructor. I've been a yogi for over 30 years. My son, who's now 23, was on the inside when I finished my yoga training. So I've been at it for a long time. The holistic wellness industry, just that mind, body, breath, spirit, emotion connection has always been super important to me and super fascinating to me. So that's why I love when you asked me the question about freedom. The first thing that came to mind was energetic freedom and emotional and spiritual freedom came to me really strongly when you asked that question.
Yeah. And so let's just dive right in. What is, when you think about it, right, the word freedom in itself and attaching it to energetic freedom, what does that describe for us? What does that mean to you?
For me, it means to have your energy completely unblocked, to be in that flow state where you are 100% at home in your body. You're 100% standing in your truth. What you say, what you do, the relationships you embrace, the work you embrace, all align with your values and align with you being able to be 100% yourself without fear of rejection, without fear of being wrong in some way. We all know people that walk into a room and they say, "I'm sorry." And it's like, wait, what are you sorry for? I mean, You walk into those people, they're like, "Oh, was I loud? Did I come in?" Being able to walk into a room and fill up the space with your light and your energy and being comfortable with being yourself, I think is true freedom. It really is.
True freedom, being comfortable with being yourself.
Yeah. Just being in that state of being accepting of yourself, of taking a really nice, hard, unapologetic look at yourself and embracing yourself, certainly growing. We're all growing all the time, but not being frightened to explore all those aspects of yourself and really embrace yourself. Because I feel like, we're all racing to this end goal that we've set for ourselves, which is great. You need goals to keep your life moving and to keep you, engaged and energetic. But at the same time, I think you know, be here now is really something I lean into a lot. Be here now. Just
Ooh,
how you feel in that moment and embracing that every leg of your journey as you're growing and evolving is is the end game.
yeah,
Those steps are the end game.
yeah,
Great, you have this big goal, but each little moment is meant for you. I think I say it all the time, it's not an accident that you and I are here together at this moment, in
right,
this time, in this space, out of the whole universe, out of all the probabilities and possibilities, we're here together right now. And our
right.
energy is coming together to hopefully empower someone or encourage someone. And I just think we have to take every moment and just be fully present and fully ourselves. I
Mhm.
just think about people, have we ever looked back and gone, gee, I wish I was less myself in that situation? No, but we've all looked back on situations and gone, oh, I wish I'd said this. I wish I'd said no. I wish I'd done this differently. You
Mhm.
never look back and say, gee, I wish I'd shut my mouth, or I was a little less me.
You
I
know,
mean,
that
right?
is so true. I never said that about myself.
Me either. Not one time. But we've all said, wow, I wish I said something and I didn't just
Yes,
take. I wish
yes.
I'd said no to that. I wish so I think freedom is also being able to hear your intuition, being able to believe yourself. You already know what's right for you. And I
Mhm.
said this to you before, but I really think in my particular faith or way of looking at it, I think
Mhm.
your intuition is your connection to the Holy Spirit. I think it's
Mhm.
that higher self responding,
Mhm.
to your creator, that's saying, whispering in your ear, this person isn't right for you. The situation doesn't align for you. And when
Yeah.
you lean into your intuition and you're comfortable with yourself and you believe in yourself, you start to say, no, no, thank you.
No,
You
thank you.
know? Yeah, no thanks.
I love,
Without an explanation, without a
right,
big explanation. It's
right.
okay to just say no.
Yes. And that's saying no is so difficult at times to do because it's still not really it's not really socially and culturally accepted. At least, we're talking about, kind of living in the United States, right? As women. Let's just put context, right? Because I
Let's
can't speak.
do it as women.
Right.
Exactly. I was going to
Can't,
add that too.
yeah, I can't speak for every place around the world, but it's still not something as widely accepted where even amongst us as a community of women feeling comfortable or feeling like we have to explain the no, and continuing to wish, oh, I should have said this, or I should have did this, or because I wasn't just being fully present, being fully myself, having that freedom to do that at the time, right? And
Yeah.
so what would you say for you, maybe a time where you notice that you were in a space where you were not able to freely be yourself, and like who were you at that point, and then let's talk about how you got free in the
Right.
process.
I mean, I think I've been in a couple different relationships where I was like, oh my gosh, this doesn't feel right. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh no, I have to make this work. I'm a nurturer, I'm a caregiver. And I think that's something as women, it's a broad generalization, excuse me, but I think overall as women, we value that, because it is it's a nice trait to nurture someone. But at the same time, to do it to the detriment of your intuition or of what feels right or good or even safe for you
Mm-hmm.
is not right. So I think it's very much, I've definitely encountered relationships where I've been reluctant to say no, or in the case that I knew maybe it could get a little dangerous, maybe there would be an outburst, or maybe there would be an emotional outburst or a physical outburst
Mm-hmm.
if I said no to something. And so as I was growing as a woman, as I was stepping into my power, fully embracing my power, I became comfortable with saying no. And with, I mean, I really, I left a situation after a very long period of time that it was a major paradigm shift for me in my life. It was huge.
Yeah.
And honestly, I attribute some of that to bodybuilding. We are going to come back to that because I started getting stronger physically,
Yeah.
and and the discipline that comes with that.
Mhm.
I started opening up to being like, ooh, I'm at home in my body now.
Mhm.
I'm feeling my body. I'm not rejecting because I think a lot of us, when things get tough, we go out into the ether, and we don't feel it. And your body holds so much wisdom, and your body holds so much information. And your nervous system is telling you when something's not right, and you're feeling the
Sure.
symptoms on your body. So as I
Yeah.
started to get strong, I got stronger mentally too, and I got stronger emotionally. And so
Mhm.
I was able to take myself out of that situation. But I
Mhm.
think really, so yes, in relationships, I felt that as a child, I was the, the good one. She always goes along. She's the
Yeah.
helper. And that's great to be a helper to your mom. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But sometimes you're the helper because you didn't give anybody any crap. And you know what? It's okay to say when you're feeling a certain way. But when
Right.
you start to get rewarded for suppressing your emotions and
Mm.
for being the one who doesn't speak up and doesn't cause any trouble, that's also shorthand for us as women as we get older
Mhm.
to find ourselves in situations where we might be being manipulated or abused in some way. And that could go for gentlemen too. Don't get me wrong, could go for anyone.
Right.
But if your claim to fame is that you suppressed your emotions and put other people's emotions before your own, you learn that love equals me nurturing you, me taking less, and
Mhm.
me not speaking up and telling you what my needs are. And so
Mm.
that's something I worked through as a grown woman.
Yeah. And how does that impact the ability, or how did that impact your ability to feel a level of freedom on a emotional level, spiritual level, energetic level?
It's beautiful because one of the things I learned along the way is that emotional freedom is you're allowed to feel a whole range of emotions. You don't
Mhm.
have to suppress any of them, and none of them are. That's why I'm wearing your feelings are valid shirt today. I
Yeah.
totally believe that. You're allowed to be angry, and sometimes okay, it's what you do with your anger. If you go punch somebody in the eye, of course it's bad.
Right.
But if it moves you out of a dangerous relationship because your body at some point and your mind and emotions and your spirit says, you know, I'm not taking this anymore. This sucks. That's good anger. That's moving
Right.
you in the right direction. So there's no good or bad emotions. We're meant to feel a whole range of emotions and we're allowed to embrace them. And I think that's huge for all human beings, but especially women, because we're taught we always have to go along with the game. And you know what? I think that is so freeing to understand that your emotions are all valid. They're all positive. When you
Mhm.
look at it's your nervous system, it's your body, it's your intuition, it's your spirit telling you, hey, this is how I feel, and there's a reason for it. So I think
Right.
that's very freeing to know. I'm
Mhm.
allowed to be a little irritated. I'm allowed to be elated. I could be elated over collecting stamps. And if no one else likes it, who cares? Be
Right.
elated, collect your stamps,
Right.
whatever you're doing. And I think just to be able to feel that whole gambit of emotions is so valid. It's so freeing. It's
Yes,
so
it really is. And especially having the message that, or labeling, I should say, labeling certain emotions as these are the good emotions,
yeah.
these are the bad ones. And if and we're not that you want to sit in certain emotions for long periods of time.
Right.
Of
Right.
course not. We understand that. However, I love how you communicated that, all your feelings are valid, because when we're able to feel them, process them, sit with them, right? You can discover a level of freedom because you have them, right?
Right.
Because you had mentioned, we were talking before, how even your birth order, how you were as a child, how you presented in your family, maybe in your relationship with your parent, you had to suppress certain emotions. So there's no freedom there, right? There's no freedom to explore those other areas of yourself. It's
Right. It's very true. And you bring that into other relationships and then it
sure.
becomes normal and it
Yes.
becomes, how do I receive love? What makes me worthy of love? And when
Mm.
you start to see, oh, suppressing my emotions is how I'm lovable. That gets into very dangerous territory for you as an adult because you start to one day get resentful and you start to feel this buildup, usually of anger, different emotions, which again
Right.
can sometimes make you go out of a bad situation. So you can embrace those emotions as well. But
Yeah.
really, I think the freedom to express yourself
Yeah.
and is so big, to
Mhm.
be able to have your voice, to be able to use your voice, to be able to embrace what brings you joy. I use the stamp collecting as kind of a funny analogy. Stamp collectors, I'm sure it's all very interesting. I'm cool with that. In fact, I'm big on whatever you're excited about. I can get super excited about. Just show me your energy with it.
Mhm.
But I think to not label even what you love to do or what lights you up, what gets you excited. I think there's this kind of stigma that you have to play it cool and do things a certain way to make people
Right.
like you or make people impressed about you. Just be you. Let
Mhm.
your light be big. Enjoy what you enjoy and fully embrace that. And I think that's how you start to cultivate more freedom, is when
Mhm.
you lean into what makes you you and
Mm.
you embrace it,
Mhm.
and again, along with that, growing and learning and working on the things that, are your sticking points. We all have those too. I can be
Yeah.
extremely stubborn. That's one. And, we got to lead into finding some grace, some compromise too.
Right.
At the same time, leaning into what lights you up and not caring who else likes it or whatever,
Mm.
and you embrace it,
Mhm.
and again, along with that, growing and learning and working on the things that, are your sticking points. We all have those too. I can be
Yeah.
extremely stubborn. That's one. And, we got to lead into finding some grace, some compromise too.
Right.
At the same time, leaning into what lights you up and not caring who else likes it or whatever.
Yeah. Yes, that part.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
like how you said, how do you cultivating freedom is leaning into kind of what makes you you,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
being able to lean into that. I want to transition and ask you this question because it kind of sparked it when you were talking about the process of freedom for yourself. Is how have you been able to, even as like an empowerment coach, like you've done a lot of work for yourself and on your journey, how have you been able to protect your freedom, being authentically you, showing up in a room and filling up space?
I think it starts with the word no. I'm a big fan of the word no. I used to be afraid of it. You alluded to that too, that sometimes it has such a negative connotation, especially for women. We're labeled as difficult if we say no. Whereas, and again, I'm painting with a broad stroke, so forgive me. But,
Sure.
for a man, no is assertive. For a woman, no could be considered combative, or she's difficult, or she's high maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Lean into no, and lean into no free of an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
No can be delivered, no thank you. I remember I always loved this about my dad. He would say, no, I don't care to do that.
Oh, I
And he
like
just
that.
very sweet, polite man, but he was also just very, a sensitive person. And I don't mean sensitive like boo-hoo, but sensitive to his emotions, other people's emotions. And not that it would be bad to cry if you need to cry. That's something else too. That's for another day. Please go lean into those emotions. But he would say, no, I don't care to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think leaning into no, and also just leaning into your intuition. I do this little thing, Nicole. I call it a red flags journal, but
Okay.
certainly you could have green flags in there too. Start to log when you feel that little tickle of intuition. Start to write down, what was it? Lean into it. What was happening at that moment? Who
Mm-hmm.
were you around? What were the circumstances? And then
Mm-hmm.
start to look for patterns. And then as you trust that little spark, once you see the patterns and you go, oh yeah, that's the same person I'm around when I felt that way, or
Mm-hmm.
that's the same place, or that's the job I didn't care for back then because it didn't feel right for me, whatever.
Yeah.
But lean in, start to record them. I think pen to paper is powerful. Start to
Mm-hmm.
record your emotions a little bit too that are associated with these moments. And I think it really builds on itself to trust yourself, to learn
Mm-hmm.
to trust your intuition, trust yourself, and trust that you know what's best for you and for your higher self.
I love that. Listen, you are dropping some nuggets today. For sure. But we got to keep going because there's something I
Okay,
want to
please,
get to. And
I'm here for it.
yeah, as it relates to you mentioned that one of the things that helped you to cultivate your freedom with saying no, also with building that mental capacity and that traveling to other areas of your life was through bodybuilding, right? You kind of
Yeah.
transforming yourself physically and how that helped. Can you share a little bit about how that has helped you even now to get to where you are now in your journey?
Well, I mean, certainly bodybuilding has taken me around people. You and I both know there's a measure of discipline that comes with bodybuilding. I
Mhm.
think sometimes if people don't know the sport and they see the beautiful bikinis, which you and I know, angel competition bikinis, they see the beautiful bikinis and the
Yeah,
beautiful makeup and the
yeah,
jewelry, end result, the tan, and they think it's like about pageantry, but it is a little bit maybe in the end result, or they
sure.
think it's about vanity or something. But there's this level of discipline and there's this
Mhm.
level of connection to your body that is really like no other sport in a lot of ways. And
Sure.
I think for me, it really brought me back home to my body. I think I was spending a lot of time, in a situation that was misaligned for me. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking about other things. I'm suppressing my emotions. I always tease if I teach a group fitness class, I'm like, I don't want to see you up on the ceiling. I want you in your body, for this last sprint or whatever. And I think we do leave a little bit. We check out.
Mhm.
And so using my muscles, you coming home to my body, I started really getting in touch with my emotions, getting in touch with how I'm feeling and really starting to feel things a lot for the first time. And
Yeah.
I think that was powerful for me. And
Yeah.
then the physical strength, you start to move the weight and you're like, oh, there's my biceps coming. And
Right.
that encourages you too. So I think the physical strength and that deeper connection and feeling at home in my body really
Mm.
brought about that change. And really, we also know that, our brain, our muscles, our cells, everything's connected and we
Yeah.
really do hold a lot of trapped emotion. I know this from yoga and breath work. We hold a lot of trapped emotion inside our body. As you
Mhm.
start to move it, you start to breathe and you start to come home to your body and connect on a deeper level, really start to move those emotions through the body. And I
Yes,
think that's powerful.
I mean, it is so powerful, and I loved how you kind of helped to paint a picture of what that was like for you. I remember I think I was doing I think I was on a treadmill or the stair stepper, and it was just a moment. I was pushing through. It was probably like maybe 3 minutes left after a 45-minute cardio session, and I broke down and started just boo-hooing on the
Ah,
just
yes,
I
yes.
was like, what is going on? And I was reflecting, thinking about certain things,
Yeah.
and it just tapped into a deeper part of myself. And I just let the tears flow. And I didn't care who was looking at me, it was just very cathartic for me to do that. And so being able to, for those of you that are listening, if you haven't incorporated fitness or used fitness as a gateway to help you experience a level of freedom, Leann and I here are telling you that it can help you, right? In
So
your
much.
freedom, because there are
Yeah.
levels. I've been talking about this the whole time. There are levels of freedom, right? You don't just stop. There's more.
There's always more. And that's why I
There's
said
more.
there's so much to be growing and evolving. And I think there's so many modalities to do that within too. We know physical modalities, therapy, working with a coach,
Yeah.
doing breath work, doing meditation. You don't have to be this master meditator. You
Right.
meditate walking through your neighborhood and just listening for sounds of nature and just, taking in the flowers and the grass, putting your feet in the earth, digging your hands in the soil to plant some plants. Everything can be a meditation. For
Mm-hmm.
my one of my best friends, doing the dishes is meditative for her.
Mm-hmm.
Hands in the warm water and thinking, but taking those moments to be mindful are
Mm-hmm.
just so important. But yeah, all of those physical modalities, because really you start to unblock your energy and come home to your emotional self, your physical self, and your breath. And anytime you do physical modalities, your breathing increases, you take deeper breaths. And that breath is such a powerful tool
Yeah.
for getting deeper in touch with your emotions. Yeah.
I love it. The freedom to feel, the
Right.
freedom. I think that's
Yeah.
really what you're saying, right? That's
Yeah.
a level to get to, the freedom to feel and not short circuiting certain emotions that can move you in a direction that maybe, like you said, out of a relationship that's not healthy for you, or in a direction that's going to be better for your life towards your purpose or fulfilling a dream, that you've always
Yeah.
had, right?
Exactly, exactly. And just to not be afraid of those emotions, not be afraid of who you are, not be afraid of how you feel is wrong. What you like is wrong. You're
Right,
not wrong. You're here for a reason. You're here
right.
for a reason. You're not wrong. And so I think it's okay to know to stop labeling things as good or bad, emotions as good or
Sure,
bad, to
sure.
stop labeling, well, everybody likes this and I like that. Well, guess what? Lean into what you like, lean into who you are, and to know and to not be afraid to look deeper. I think there's a little fear or trepidation, maybe a fear of rejection. There's a lot of those child wounds wrapped up in it. I mean,
Yes,
a fear of rejection is huge, a fear of abandonment. Don't be afraid to look deeper, because when you look
yes,
deeper, that's where you find your higher self. And your higher self wants your greater good. And when you're working towards your greater good, you bring that out in other people. You inspire other people to keep going. And it'll be surprising, but you enter a room and you don't know how many people you touched with
mhm,
with your light and your energy. And if we can touch one person and make them keep going, propel them out of, who knows, a dangerous relationship, or just make them believe in themselves to keep going and go for their goals, go for their dreams, and just be comfortable in their own skin, that's
mm.
huge. That's huge.
I think we can put a pin right there.
I
If
think we can.
Yeah, we need to. And if someone wants to continue this conversation and be empowered to go a little deeper, and they like what you have to say, how can they connect with you, Leann?
I have a website, so leannkellycoaching.com.
Mhm.
And there's a way to book a call with me. I would love to chat with you. And I'm on Instagram at LMK, like Leann Mary Kelly, Fit45. And I would love to chat with you. DM me, take a peek at us at our shows together. Look, check out our bodybuilding and coaching and everything. And yeah, like I said, if I can just make one person believe in themselves, I want to just fully embody their own gifts, their unique, innate gifts, I will feel like my work here is done.
Yes, I love it. Y'all check Leann out. We'll have all her information in the show notes. Oh, Leann, thank you so much for
Thank
just sharing who you are, just a little piece of who you are.
you.
And y'all, I promise you will not be disappointed. If you want to continue your freedom journey and work with Leann, check her out there on her website. Until next time, let's continue to go deeper, higher, to be your best self so that you can be free and share yourself with others. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Leann. We'll see you next
Thank
time.
you, Nicole. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Take Action Podcast. I truly hope you were inspired to take massive action to being your best self. If this resonated with you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a beat. And write a review so we can share this message with as many people as possible. Head over to my hub, NicoleSimmonsLeadership.com, for more powerful resources to help you release your potential. Make today count, take action.